have an issue that I'm trying to work through. I think I have a viable solution that might be pretty good for the firewall. So I'm at the point where I'm about ready to start building the footbox for the passenger side and installing a lot more of the aluminum panels and stuff. Still waiting for some Cerakote to arrive so I can start coating the rest of the panels so they can go in. But for the firewall, I'm wanting to run like a mechanical linkage instead of the throttle cable. The mechanical linkage would mount, some of those mounting points would be to the firewall. And the problem I have, concern, is that the firewall is a little flimsy. It's pretty thin stock. So I would need a much more rigid firewall so that you don't flex the firewall while you're stomping on the throttle. So I picked up some thicker aluminum stock to manufacture my own firewall, which is kind of disheartening because I already sandblasted and coated the Factory 5 firewall. It's just thin. So it kind of gave me an idea. If I still used a Factory 5 firewall that's already Cerakoted, so I get a little thermal protection there, but in conjunction with that, put a thermal barrier like a Dynamat material of sorts, where it's adhesive back, but it's got some thermal properties, thermal blocking properties as well, and then sandwich the other piece of aluminum, which is a little bit thicker, to it. So you have thin aluminum, thermal barrier, thick aluminum. That should give me the rigidity, but also provide me some extra thermal protection for the dash area and prevent any heat coming into the dash due to, because I'll have a lot of the gauge clusters will be in there, some wiring and other stuff that might go in there, and just having that extra layer of thermal protection might be a good idea. So we're going to get started and document that process of how I make this. Hopefully it's not too thick where it causes problems for other things like the bulb seal for the body to the chassis interface or anything like that. So let's see how this goes. All right, before we get into tackling the firewall project, take care of one loose end. Should be fairly quick, I think, but we'll see. So right now we're going to do the differential vent. So on the build manual, I've got some pages that I've post-it noted, just something to come back to. So I got this one, still have to come back to the vent for the diff, and what I ended up doing was I ordered just a generic vent cover, that's the part number there, to fit the hose that comes with the kit. And this is just, it's basically a check valve, keeps any moisture from getting in there, but it still allows the diff to vent. So we'll get that in now. Alright, this part here makes me nervous. Basically get one shot because that 3M contact spray cement is very, very strong. It's tacked over, ready to go on. So I got to try to line it up and make sure it's right. Heavier, a lot stiffer. So I don't mind all the riveting. That's not a big deal. I got a pneumatic riveter. Even using the rivet gun's not that big a deal. The part that I absolutely do not enjoy doing is drilling the damn holes. And I'm probably glutton for punishment in that regard as well, because I'm shortening the spacing between the rivets, so there's basically going to be more rivets than what Factory 5 is calling for, but it is what it is. But drilling the holes absolutely sucks. One slightly frustrating thing, I mean it's not a big deal, but it would make things a lot simpler, is on some of the panels where they were screwed together with the self-tapping screws and stuff, I can't get a cleco to bite very well, probably because the hole is slightly oversized because of self-tapping screw. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So in this area here, for example, right here, I couldn't get clecos to bite, at least the 1/8 inch clecos. So I'm using the screws to kind of help hold the thing while I'm drilling holes in preparation for riveting and stuff. But just one thing, slightly annoying, I guess. One other thing I'm trying to be mindful of is the seams that will be visible, to make them as clean as possible. For example, like the seams that are going to be under carpet on the inside of the cockpit, I don't really care about. They're going to be hidden by carpet. But the seams in the engine bay area for the footbox and transmission tunnel and stuff like that, the stuff we're going to see, I'm trying to be mindful so that the seam looks as nice as possible. So, for example, right here in the manual, it looks like they have this seam for this piece here being on the engine bay side. And I'll take you over here and show you what I'm talking about. Versus like this. So I'm considering putting this seam on the inside of the footbox here, so that the seam on the outside, you'd be hard pressed to see it in the first place just because of all this bracing and stuff right here, but it kind of cleans up that edge there a little bit, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But I don't think it really matters. That's not really a structural part or anything. It's just all visual. So I know I said that I was going to do things, align the panel seams a certain way, and as I'm drilling these, thinking to myself, I'm like, so one more modification, I'll probably rivet the other way as well, at least in the tunnel part right here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So here, so if I rivet from the inside, you'll see the ugly part of the rivet here and not the head of the rivet. Head of the rivet versus the side that looks really ugly when it pops. So I'll probably do these riveting from this side and then rivet from this side, and then since that one there, obviously not going to get rivet gun in there, I'll do those from the inside. So probably a really silly detail, but I don't know. Maybe it matters, maybe it doesn't. More than likely it doesn't, but that's what I'm going to do. Alright, said it once, say it again, the drilling I think is the worst part. The rivets, not a big deal. The drilling is horrendous. But anyways, this is what we got so far. So the foot box is mostly in. Not going to put this panel on yet, not riveted in place, just kind of there as a placeholder. And I should have probably held off on even drilling the holes, but kind of got distracted. But it is what it is. But anyway, that way I have access inside the foot box. When I need to do stuff, I can at least not have that panel in the way. But that bottom panel is in. But it looks really nice. And you can see some of the holes here, like right here, there's a hole. We'll seal that in from the inside, and then from out here it'll just look black. But so far so good. I think the next part that's ready to go in is the seat pan area for the passenger side. So I'm going to take a break for a little bit and gotta run some errands. So we'll get back to it.